Can the Rebbe be called Nasi Doreinu without being accepted as such by many multitudes of Jews?
Let's look a little bit into the idea of a Nasi Doreinu. Firstly, regarding leaders of generations, we find generally two types. And as the Rebbe brings it in the Maimer Vata Tetzaveh, there was Moshe Rabbeinu. He was the revealed and open and unarguable leader of all the Jews of his generation. There was Mordechai HaYehudi, Mordechai HaTzadik, who the Medrash says, Mordechai b'doiroi, ki Moshe b'doiroi. Mordechai in his generation was like Moshe in his generation. The Rebbe explains because by Mordechai as well, he was in an open and revealed way the leader of all the people of his generation. And the Rebbe adds that there was also the Frierdiker Rebbe, and by extension there's also the Rebbe who in their generations are the revealed and open leader of all the people of a generation. There was other tzaddikim, other leaders of generations, who not everybody was able necessarily to see and to realize that he is the unequivocal and the direct leader of all the people of the generation. That was not always something which was open and revealed. We know, for example, in the time of the Rebbe Marash, the Rebbe Marash didn't have so many chassidim, and also they didn't see openly how he was the leader of everybody. There's a story that the Rebbe Marash, the chassidim, felt that there are certain important things in the generation that are being done by others. And they felt bad about it, and the Rebbe Marash allowed them to see and to notice that those important things that he was actually behind the scenes, the one who was doing it and accomplishing it. But sometimes these things were behind the scenes. But let's go back now to Moshe Rabbeinu, who was the revealed leader of all the people of generation. He was the revealed leader, but that didn't mean that there wasn't Kairach and 250 leaders of Sanhedrin who fought against Moshe Rabbeinu and felt Madua Tisnasu, that we should actually be the ones in charge. They weren't just regular people, they were 250 leaders of Sanhedrin who brought with them so many other Jews. Mordechai, we're told in the Pasuk, Ratzui l'roiv echav, he was accepted by most of his brothers. Parshu mimenu miksa Sanhedrin, some of the Sanhedrin left him. And nevertheless, he was the open and revealed leader of all the people of the generation. How is that? Leader of the generation doesn't necessarily mean that everybody fully accepts him. In Tanya Perek Beis, it talks about the people who are Poishim, Umoiridim, Betalmidei Chachamim, who they go against the leader. Leader means that we can see that what he is bringing out into the generation, the concepts that he's bringing, is something that he's giving in a revealed way to every person, whether they accept it willingly or not. Moshe Rabbeinu brought the Torah to every Jew. Moshe Rabbeinu brought knowledge of Hashem to every Jew, and he brought the emunah, the faith and belief in Hashem. He internalized it inside every Jew. Whether or not a Jew wanted to accept that fact, that's non-consequential to the reality of Moshe Rabbeinu being the leader. Mordechai HaYehudi, he brought the Mesirus Nefesh to every Jew, whether they openly listened to him and openly accepted him or not. More than that, in our time, it's probably in a more revealed way even than Mordechai HaYehudi, and in some ways even than Moshe Rabbeinu. The Rebbe taught everyone to want Mashiach, to demand Mashiach, to believe in Mashiach. That belief has become a reality in every single Jew of our time. And even in every person of our time. The recognition of Mashiach, the belief in Mashiach, that's something which has become something which is a household word by everybody, whether they accept, acknowledge it openly or not, or whether they even fight against it. With the Rebbe, we see clearly also how there's no one that wasn't affected in some way by the Rebbe's leadership. And we see also how most, if not all, of the Jewish leaders in our time, whether other Chassidus Sherebes, whether Mikubalim, whether Rosh Yeshivas, Litvish Gdolim, whether non-religious leaders, heads of state, or different types of leaders of every type, shape, and kind, all, many of them openly went to the Rebbe. Whether it was leaders of non-religious Jewish groups, whether other religious groups openly either went or wrote letters or were influenced by the Rebbe's leadership in a way that I don't know if you can find such a thing by any leader throughout the generations. So the fact that people fight against it and don't want to acknowledge it, that's what the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya Perek Beis. But it doesn't take away from the reality that they're affected by the leadership. If we can go clearly, and it would take much more time than we have here to specify the things that the Rebbe brought into the world, which are today affecting every Jew, whether it's ideas of Chassidus, whether it's the concept of Hashgacha Pratis as it's taught by the Baal Shem Tov, which today is everybody talking about it, whether it's the ideas of keeping mitzvahs in the best possible way, things like Shmura Matzah by the Seder Pesach, which was something which the Rebbe brought in even amongst religious Jews, whether it's the concept of Chalav Yisrael, which although there's many people who aren't following it today, but it's something which has become so much more publicized due to the Rebbe's spreading the concept. Whether it's the concept of helping the what we call non-affiliated Jew, which today there's no self-respecting religious leader of any type of frum Jew that doesn't try and have some type of kiruv organization. It was the Rebbe single-handedly that started the concept, to the extent that today people speak about it as if they're the ones that started it, but that's the real leadership that they took it over and they made it into theirs. Whether it's so many countless other things where we see clearly, and most of all, as we mentioned before, the idea of Mashiach. Something which the whole world talks about now and is involved in, regardless of if they're openly, officially fighting it or openly, officially accepting it. So in fact, in reality, perhaps more than any other time in the past, in this generation, there's a single one leader, Nasi of the generation, who has affected every single Jew and even non-Jew in the generation in the most powerful way, in the most powerful manner.